Hey, welcome to the Breakdown with your not-so-humble host, Ben. I have a special co-host today, my good friend, Blake Casper. How's it going, buddy?
Going good.
Awesome. And we'd like to thank our producer extraordinaire, Sam Wolf, for making this all happen. And we also hope that you watched the show before our show, the Travie Wavy, which he had Nick Noblique on this morning, who is quite the sculptor, I hear. I have not watched the episode yet, but I'm going to. We've got a lot to discuss. Blake and I are going to go over all kinds of topics, all kinds of stuff today. We're going to hit it with sports because that's kind of the nuts and bolts, obviously, of this show. But today, what I realized is we're going to be going into the off season pretty soon, which makes me very sad because having the national championship games behind us now, it's a sad life with no college football, isn't it?
What do I do with my Saturdays now?
I know, right?
I don't know what to do.
We're just gonna have to go drink and watch basketball or something, right?
Get into basketball.
That's right. So Blake is the resident Aggie here at the Breakdown, which we've called in. We call him, and sometimes he just got off of his shift and he's asleep, and it makes for great content. But we prefer it when you're asleep than when you're awake. But anyways, we are going to. I was going to ask you, like, obviously the national championship game just happened, but kind of like an overall, what did you like about the college playoff this year, and what did you not like about it?
So I thought that they did it well. I was worried about it going into it, that they were going to put like a Bama in there or somebody else in there that maybe didn't deserve it. I think that the teams that got there deserved it. Now, with the exception of, I feel like SMU didn't really belong there. I felt like the announcers really kind of patted them a little bit, like, oh, they just didn't play well today.
Yeah.
No, they were outmatched. There was no.
It's like they wanted that storyline so
they
bad.
Wanted it really bad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and one of our good friends of the show here, that is one of my weekly viewers, actually got his master's degree at SMU. So I can't talk too. We can't talk too much shit about that.
I'm not putting them down. I'm just meaning, like, it'd be like if they put A&M in there.
Yeah,
there you
right,
go.
right.
We did not belong anywhere near there. Like,
Sure.
you just weren't to that level yet, and that's what I mean.
But I think we all wanted a game out of that.
It's almost like Arizona State going against Texas.
Yeah.
Right? We want, like, sorry to Texas fans, but you want to see somebody like Arizona State take it and go on with it.
Yeah.
And just to get somebody different in there.
Yeah, in the white pants on Steve Sarkisian. What a douche.
And I think that, Texas, and it was really funny to me to see how quickly Texas fans turned on Ewers.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately after that game, it's like, screw Ewers, get him out of here. Nobody wants him. He got you here.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He did fine. That wasn't it wasn't all him. It was coaching. There was all kinds of stuff went into that. You know what I mean?
The college football fan
It's
base
brutal.
is almost like a Philly fan.
Brutal.
It's like they're all Philly fans.
I'm telling you, it's a brutal. I would not want to be a college football player or a coach in college. Like, that is just terrifying to me. The amount of pressure they've got to be under.
So what did you?
But no,
on
I
the
thought
ranking
that
the ranking system
rankings
though
were good.
Right.
There was a couple weeks I didn't agree. Okay, so I've said this since early on. I didn't agree with Texas's ranking, but they played well. They made it to the Final Four.
Right.
They played Ohio State decently. You know what I mean? There was no form or fashion they were going to win that game.
Right.
In my mind, you know what I mean? The only way they got close was Ohio State let them get close. Ohio State played pretty terrible that game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, other than that, I mean, Texas still, they showed they belong there because they played well. and they played against Ohio State.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had a tough game against Arizona State. Arizona State showed they belonged there. I mean, they played Texas to the wire.
That was probably one of my favorite games
favorite
of
game.
the whole thing.
Loved it.
Yeah, that was
Loved
so
it.
cool.
And that just shows what you may not have the best talent in the world, but if you've got gritty, good, hard-ass football players.
What was that running back's name? Do you remember it?
Oh, gosh.
Scadaboo?
Scadaboo.
Man, that little white
That
kid
dude
trucked him the whole
When he got
day.
his helmet ripped off and just kind of did that snarl, I was like, oh, that's my hero.
Yeah.
No.
That was a
that
great
dude was
game.
awesome, and it was good to see a team like that. Just
Yeah.
gritty. Nobody, no 5-star, no, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? All this media around them, just
Right.
straight up football. That's
Yeah.
football to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about college football. There was just
Heck
gritty
yeah.
players, and some teams got in there. And I mean, one of the cool stories of the season was South Carolina, the second half of their season, how they turned their whole year around and became now all of a sudden that's a team to watch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's a
South Carolina lost
solid
me a lot of
team.
bets because I was not expecting
I
them to do
I love
that.
how A&M is great at being another team's come out party. It's like come play A&M and you'll go on to have a great season after you're done kicking the crap out of us.
Oh man.
It's just A&M season was just trash.
What do you think? Okay, so my dad does not love Mike Elko. He doesn't because he thinks he needs he thinks that A&M. Honestly, like when you talk about terms of money and able to pay for people, they're one of the biggest in the country.
I agree.
And my dad's like he just kind of looks like a kind of a frumpy dump.
I agree.
But
his physical appearance not the greatest. But I mean, think about this: we just paid Jimbo Fisher how much money? And what did he get us?
What did he?
The worst years we've had since.
Yeah, so that
going
would
back.
be my argument against.
So
my,
that's
my
kind of
father.
my deal on it right there. But I mean, Elko, it's yet to see. It's his first season. He did about to be what was expected. I think that like we always do, we let hope get in the way of reality.
And isn't that football?
And, that's football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's being a fan of football. If you're a true fan, you understand that feeling. How you don't want to let it in, but you let it in, and especially with A&M, all the money we have spent and all the staff we've acquired over the years and have went on to do great things, just not at A&M.
Yeah.
And it's like my dad and I were just all like, when can we just have something? Like, you know what I mean? Like Notre Dame, I'm super impressed.
That's great. That
program.
story,
I love
that
it.
coach.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that program.
That
the
is
way they
exciting.
turned that around and the way that they took it all.
Yeah.
Ohio State kept saying everybody against us. No, it was everybody against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame was the media's beating child right there. Nobody gave them any credit.
Yeah.
Nobody gave them. They played 9 ranked teams in a row.
Right.
No other team did that outside of Georgia. I think Georgia
Yeah.
was the other one that played all ranked. But
So on Ryan Day on Ohio State, do you think he uses Just for Men in his beard, or just,
I'm 100%.
or just shoe
100%.
polish?
There's one of the best memes ever was about that beard.
I'm just like,
and
dude,
I died
we
laughing
all
over
know,
that. Like it was like,
I
let it
don't know.
go. Just
Yeah.
let it turn gray. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
look at my hair. I'm not going to hold on to it. Love my grandfather. He passed away years ago, but my grandfather had the little ring right here, and he held on to that. He would comb it and I'm just like, Granddaddy, let it go. It's over.
That's
hair's
great.
just not in our family. Just on our face. That's about all we can grow.
That's great, man. But yeah, Ryan Day. There's just something
I
about
don't like
him that I don't.
I don't
that I
like
don't
him. I
like.
think like his coaching is phenomenal. I just don't
Right.
like him. Like it's just how you have people that just rub you wrong.
He's got the greasy car
he's just the
used
guy.
car salesman vibe
Yeah.
to me.
And I have a ton of Ohio State friends, and they know.
Right.
Like I have nothing against Ohio
Yeah,
State.
yeah.
It's nothing to do like that. It's just he's just a weird dude.
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
It's just weird. Yeah.
I don't care for him.
Yeah.
Much
Okay.
like Texas's coach.
Yeah.
Just don't like him.
Sarkeesian.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But no, the
now-
national championship went exactly kind of how I
Yeah.
figured. I was
I'm
glad Notre
that they
Dame
didn't
got
run,
in there.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't run away with it.
Notre Dame was outmatched. I mean, that Ohio State. If you look at the size of Ohio State versus Notre Dame, it was an underdog story for sure. Just the underdog wasn't able to pull out the upset.
Right.
But I mean, Ohio State, nobody's giving them the credit they deserve. They lost to Michigan last game of the season, came back and slaughtered.
Yeah.
I mean, they came back and said, no, we're not going to let this keep us down. And so that's what I love about college football.
Yeah.
Is you think somebody's out, and the next thing you know, here they are, just
Yeah.
rising out of the ashes. And I love that Alabama lost and that all these teams lost. I just love that bitched and moaned about, why aren't we in the playoffs? Why aren't we in the playoffs? Why aren't we in the... Look what you just had happen to you.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was good. I think there should be some the transfer portal. I think they're going to make some changes to that coming up. I've heard they're going to limit the window of that.
Yeah,
now.
they got to do. It's
they
time
need to do some stuff.
You
with
know,
that.
as you know,
it's really
I'm
hard.
very much a libertarian at heart, and I kind of love the fact that it's just the Wild West and there's no rules.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, all right, we got to have some kind of.
There's got to be a little bit of governing. You know
But
what
the
I mean? Just a little
NCAA
bit.
over the years
Not
has
much.
proven to be just a bunch of idiots that
Well,
don't.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
a
you know,
joke,
you get Congress involved and all this other stuff probably
Yeah.
too, which is weird that they get involved with shit like this.
Just
but
stay out of it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
But,
Just like everyone's lives, stay out of it.
yeah, exactly.
But
But okay, so and then you know the other thing is the Aggies are really doing. I know that we haven't kept up a whole lot on the college basketball, but the Aggies
they're
are looking
doing
good.
they're doing
They're looking
solid.
good. You knocked off
I,
Texas. Got South Carolina
Yeah.
coming up.
I feel bad. I don't keep up with more A&M basketball. I should. I'm just full disclosure. I'm just not a big basketball guy. Period.
Yeah.
Around March, I'll watch the. I'll kind of get my bracket going and watch the tournament and really get into that. But up until March, I really don't pay attention. I need to be better about that. That's just me.
Yeah,
Just,
well, and even if it's just following your own
yeah,
team.
just at least knowing what's going on with A&M would be a lot better on my part because A&M's got solid basketball, solid baseball, women's softball, solid.
Yeah.
We've got some solid programs out there.
Absolutely.
It's just we just can't figure out football.
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing I want. It's like we just can't have it. But it's really easy to not notice that A&M's got an amazing athletics program.
Right.
Let's just take football out of it, and we're top in the country, or one
Right.
of the top teams, or top schools. Excuse me, in the country.
Heck yeah. So my challenge to you because we're just like college basketball only just now gets
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And it
This is about
doesn't
the
really
time
get
that-
interesting till March.
No.
But basketball's it is what it is kind of. But college basketball is more fun because they do play defense.
Yeah.
And they actually really want to win,
Yeah.
which is unlike the NBA
Oh, yeah.
players. They're getting paid $1 bazillion to like. Anyways, we can get into that later. But my challenge to you is to keep up with your A&M basketball guys
need to do that.
and look and see what they're going to do, and then we can do some picks.
Yeah.
And
I'll
you know
gladly
what I
do
mean.
that. Yeah,
And
gladly.
and then I usually pick a college hoops team every year based on who wins me the most bets in the month
Yeah.
of January.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
So that is
Pretty interesting. Okay.
I'm kind of torn between Creighton and Butler right now.
Butler, okay.
And you know, those are kind of your East Coast folks,
Yeah.
but
They're always in the tournament.
they're always in there.
Always making it several rounds.
yeah, and so I'm gonna kind of by the end of this week, I'm gonna pick one, and what I do is I buy a T-shirt, and then I wear that T-shirt when
There you
they
go.
play. You know, it
Okay.
just makes it fun.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a couple bucks on them when they play.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
a couple. What got me started into this was the Seton Hall Pirates.
Okay.
And I couldn't
yeah.
tell you where Seton Hall was
I don't
before
know
that.
either. I've seen their name out
Yeah,
there, but I
it
don't
is
know.
a place called Orange City, New Jersey, of all
Jersey?
places. But
Really?
you know, I'm a Raiders guy. I like
that
Pirates
would be a southern
stuff.
team, like
Yeah.
somewhere around, you know what I mean, down in the
Yeah.
south. I don't know why. I just thought.
But they
you
have
know.
the coolest pirate logo,
Yeah.
and they're like
Oh, yeah.
blue and white, and they're just badass. Or they're not badass anymore. Unfortunately, they're not having a great year. But that's kind of how I got into this stuff.
Okay.
That's how I got into the college basketball thing. So I think
Nice.
moving forward, especially as we push into March, it would be fun to make some picks,
Yeah.
do some bets.
I
you
used
know?
to bet on UConn all the time. Like UConn, I
And
was
you
always
win
like,
money.
UConn will get me at least a year.
Yeah,
every
and
year.
every
you know,
year,
UConn,
man.
North Carolina was another one I was betting
Yeah.
on a lot. You know,
Man, that's
a lot of
cool.
those teams. Now it's kind of different now. Now
Oh.
there's a lot more like smaller schools.
Yeah.
kind of making it up.
So to go back, backpedal to college football.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Bill Belichick to North Carolina football
God.
thing?
I-
Is that the weirdest thing you've
That's
ever seen in your
super
life?
weird. I don't really know even. I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I just thought it was like a meme, you know what I mean? Basically, and I'm like, that's funny, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, this is real. He really did make the okay, all right, well, that just goes to show you, I guess now, I don't know if the NIL made this possible or if it's always like colleges always have had a ton of money. And North Carolina's up there when it comes
They
to
got
money.
Michael Jordan.
Stupid money. So it makes sense to me now that you're gonna probably see this a lot more where it's not you're coaching to get to the NFL. You're coaching to get to whoever will pay you the most money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because basically college football is becoming the new NFL.
Yeah.
So sorry, NFL fans. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. NFL is becoming entertainment now. It's no longer a sport.
Oh, now we're throwing firing shots.
I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing it out there. It's NFL is becoming an entertainment.
Well,
industry.
you're not wrong.
You know what I mean? No, I'm not. I'm saying they're still playing football. They're still Hard Knocks. They're still this. They're still
But
that.
it's a television show.
But it's a television show
it
where
is.
there's a lot of, and college football is dangerously close behind that.
Yeah, they're
trending the
stepping
same.
into that
And I'm saying that
territory.
like all sports are doing this, and I hate
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like it's great to go mainstream. I love that, but at the same time, I hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's happening everywhere. It's happening in UFC. It's happening
Yes.
in. It's already happened to boxing. Boxing's
And
pretty
it's
well
dead. Yeah.
obsolete. Like I don't
Right.
even know. The last time I saw a good boxing match that I was like, oh wow, that's so out. No,
Yeah.
it's not out there.
Yeah.
UFC starting to get it's and what I mean by that is with boxing and UFC, you're not seeing the best fighters fight each other. You're seeing the best draw.
Yeah.
That's all. So if you look at, we'll get in this when we talked about NFL, but if you look at the NFL right now, there seems to be a little one-sidedness on certain things to help certain teams that have bigger draws right now because the NFL took such a big hit over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Their ratings have plummeted all the way down. Their ratings have been the lowest they've ever been. A lot of people don't pay attention to that.
Right. Which they're still higher than
They're still higher
other
than
things, but for
than
them.
other. But so I'm talking about
For them.
for their NFL standards.
Okay, got you.
So they have plummeted,
Right.
right? So how do you bring that back? Well, it's things like I'm just going to say it. Things like talk a little Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
Things like the Chiefs with the whole Kelsey Swift thing, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You have all these things going on that are draws. That's drawing a new. That's drawing.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that's drawing a new crowd to watch NFL.
And how relevant would the Kelsey brothers be without Taylor Swift?
I don't think at all.
Very.
Like people are comparing him to Gronkowski, and that's not even
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, he's
Gronkowski is
Yeah, he's the Gronk, the
the
best.
Gronk. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no
Tony
comparison
Gonzalez,
to that.
guys
yeah,
like
Tony
that.
Gonzalez, guys
Yeah.
like that. Those are.
And
And I'm not taking anything away from Travis. Travis Kelce's a good player. I'm not saying that.
Well, and he's a play.
just-
He turns it on in the playoffs,
Yes.
which is really at the end of the day, that's what matters for him. But
So,
But yeah,
that's
that's
what
an
I mean by that.
interesting-
Is,
but
is
yeah,
they're
the-
trying to draw a new crowd.
Yeah.
What I'm not saying that their relationship's a farce. I'm just getting at
Right.
they played on that relationship to help bring new people in, which is marketing 101. So that's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing for real fans
yeah,
that just want the purity of the game back.
Yeah,
Right. And
that's
it's
true.
like, I think Big Frank talked on that last week a little bit about how they kind of the refs are not necessarily one-sided, but they're kind of padding Patrick Mahomes
yeah.
because they're afraid
well, and
people
you got
may
it's kind
may
of the
kinda
Brady. It's
start-
the Tom Brady
it is.
effect.
It's
you know,
their new cash cow. They
Yeah.
want to keep him healthy, keep
And winning.
him this,
Yeah.
and winning because that's what's going to line everybody's pockets instead of, hey, it's football.
yeah,
We're going to have our. I mean, look at college football. I mean, look at Notre Dame was playing with almost a whole new offensive line because of injuries.
yeah,
How many teams lost quarterbacks this year, lost running backs, lost, A&M, we had a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
And not our team was trash before that, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? There's this riddle with injuries everywhere,
right.
right? But in the NFL, it seems to be they're trying to guard this one thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, guard all quarterbacks.
Right.
Make it across the board
Yeah.
to me, not just this quarterback.
Yeah, you see that that is definitely an issue, and that
So-
brings in the
And that's where you get the-
Chiefs fatigue of
Yeah.
the fan base, which this just reminds me so much of the Patriots dynasty era.
It does, but-
it's like, but at least up to this point, we haven't caught the Chiefs cheating like we did the Patriots.
Yeah, I was about to say,
You know
and
what I mean?
it's not, and I'm not necessarily dogging the Chiefs. They've
Right.
done what they need to do to get there. If you get a good call,
Yeah.
hey,
But it's kind of
That's not
turning
really,
in.
but
It's kind of turning into flopping a little bit.
It kind of
like,
is.
Like the basketball stuff.
That Travis Kelce deal where he was talking smack last week to the Philly guy, and then the guy kind of did the little thing and come on,
it's pretty
dude.
brilliant.
No,
I
get it, get the call,
but yeah, dude.
But
so
no, there's just some stuff like that.
So Big Frank, speaking of, he could not join us today. But that's okay because we still have another week before the Super Bowl. So we're going to have him on the show next week to give us that kind of breakdown because we have the Chiefs versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite. The Super Bowl lines are always close like that. But, I mean, I'm taking the Chiefs, dude.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's written in the stars. The three-peat's never been done before.
Yep.
And unless the Saquon Barkley, the running back of the Eagles, goes off on them again. But the Chiefs' defense is freaking good.
They're good.
And that's, but the Eagles kind of have, I don't know, there's kind of like this destiny feeling for both teams for me. But, like, dude, I'm not betting against the Chiefs.
No.
Hell no.
I wouldn't, honestly.
The Taylor Swift voodoo, as I call it, is real. And
I mean, think about the storyline they can play on that with just the whole thing in general.
Right.
And that's what I mean when I say an entertainment business. It's like if it's close like that and you can kind of fandango it, it's almost like the end of the game against Philly when they threw that pass and the flag went out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the flag picked up and you don't see the forums. I mean, it's just nonstop.
Well, and
it's stuff like that makes us all think.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't do that. If you throw a flag, at least come on there and say, oh, blah, 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 whatever. But don't just throw it and pick it up and be like, oh, wait, he dropped it. We're good.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And that's where, the argument, because those are way more than conspiracy theories. Yes. They're like real things.
Well, it's happening all the time.
But like what the opponent can't do is they can't let a close game happen with the Chiefs. Because if you let a close game happen, you're screwed. The Zebras, man, they're gonna get you.
Yep.
But so
I agree.
Who's your pick for the Super Bowl win?
Oh, I've got the Chiefs. Just because I just don't think I don't. I'm not a fan of either team. Like that's not my team or anything.
Right.
But I just think the Chiefs are gonna ink that one out.
Heck yeah. And we'll go into that more next week, folks, with Big Frank. Don't worry, Big Frank. We're gonna get you next week. He had a commitment this morning at this time, which is all right, man, because we're gonna get you next week. And the show's not the same without you, though, Big Frank. It's not, because afterwards I'm always like, okay, well, I'm done here. But anyways,
he does give the best breakdowns.
He really does.
He goes into stuff that I'm sitting there like, huh.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Those
really paying attention
crazy
more
Chi-Town Bear people, man, they know it all. Oh yeah, and I meant to ask him too next week. It sounds like he and his son are making a new tailgate rig, like
cool.
A new bus thing.
That's super cool.
See, I want to get the breakdown crew. There's a lot of us here. We got a lot of staff. We got producer Sammy. We've got all kinds of guys dealing with the camera. We've got the lovely Jan that does hair and makeup for us, which she got to take care of Blake today. And we want to go to Chicago and go to one of these games next season and hang out with Big Frank and go beer for beer with those dudes in the cold. You know what I mean?
I used to live up there. Let me tell you.
So that's my goal for this show, is to go to a game in Chicago next year and hopefully be able to broadcast a show from a tailgate.
That'd be awesome.
How cool would that be?
So much fun.
I'm taking everyone.
We'll take the boys. Take Jonah up.
Yeah, take the boys.
Jonah and Jack up. I'll swing down to Champaign, get Jack.
Heck yeah,
dude.
Up,
have a whole family affair.
That's awesome. Okay, let me move on. I think that was all the NFL last year or last week. Man, was that last week? I guess it was. The Chiefs and the Texans, they played.
That was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because Philly.
Oh, the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah,
Chiefs
Bills. I mean,
and the
Bills, not Philly.
Yeah,
Bills and
so
Chiefs
that
from
was
last
sad
week,
for
yeah.
Josh Allen, but it is
I felt
so
bad.
Bills though.
Yeah,
The Bills
that was
just
typical
do that.
ending to the.
Yeah, everybody wanted the Bills.
I was there.
To
I
win.
mean, I wasn't there, but I was like watching it, just like you have that hope again, that hope of like he's got it, he caught it. You know what I mean? And then it's like no.
Yeah, that was went the way we thought it would.
I was at my lady's apartment, and pretty sure I got in trouble. Screaming, at
Screaming. Yeah.
the neighbors call on me.
So our last bit of it's probably not the only reason neighbors calling you, but anyways, in other NFL news, my Raiders hired former coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll. Which
that's a big hire.
That's the other thing I really wanted to.
How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts?
I love it. I'll tell you why I love it. Not that anybody gives a damn but me, but and the Raiders fans out there in the world.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get Big Frank's take on Pete Carroll as well. My thing is we've been in this coaching cycle of can't figure it out for some time now. Yeah. We've gone through. We had to fire one mid-season, Josh McDaniels, and that was a garbage fire. Terrible. And everybody, the knock on Pete Carroll is he's 74 years old. Well, okay, he's got a 3-year contract, whatever. Maybe and this guy, he's like
the next.
Yeah, he's like he's a professor at USC right now. And I'm pretty sure all he does is go out and surf every morning.
Yeah.
He's a young 74 years old. Yeah. And
he's in shape too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in shape. Really he's not overweight. He's still got that spark or he wouldn't take the job.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just thinking, can you get us some culture, right to ship? Please don't bring Russell Wilson with you, but that might happen.
So my thoughts on it is that he is going to basically get the program, if you will, like you said, get the culture built, and then groom
the next guy. That's
what I think. That's what makes sense to me, given his age. Given you can't do this forever, you know what I mean. Yeah. Oh, you can, but at some point you kind of lose that. But I think that's I was excited to hear that. I remember that was around the same time I was about to say about Lyle Hempel. I would love to get Big Frank's breakdown of him. He's just came on as, I'm not sure the placement of him in A&M, but it's within the offensive coordinator staff, and they're talking about him then moving up into that position. But apparently he is an amazing
he's the dude.
So I would love to get Big Frank's take on that, if you could ask him for me.
Absolutely.
What he thinks about that guy.
I will do that. I want to, because we're going to also be, we're not changing the show from a sports perspective here, folks. But we're basically going to have an off-season brand of the breakdown that we will be kind of after the Super Bowl. We're going to go into more of some just shit that I like. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cool, and stuff that I like. We're going to have people that are also into things that I like, which is like yourself. And then we're still going to be covering football in the off season. No. And there's going to be all kinds of moves and trades and different things. We're going to have some college hoops into March and some hockey playoffs and finals and stuff. And but the show's going to go in some different areas, which I think is going to be fun for the viewers and maybe get some people that aren't quite sports crazed lunatics like the rest of us. Yeah. But before we move on to that, I got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys for a minute.
I was just about to ask you about that.
So, if there ever was a dumpster fire of a franchise, it is now. It is here. I'm sorry, but this is week 18, I think, of the show. Episode 18 of the breakdown with your humble, not so humble host. And I've been talking shit about the Cowboys since week 1. Consistently.
I love the perseverance.
And and it's easy and I feel bad, but they basically got everybody got hired that was wanting the job, that all the top guys. Yeah. And so this isn't just my take, but other shows talk about this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But what happens too is whenever those coaches get hired first, they get the best guys to build their staffs with. Yeah. So you waited to the very last minute to hire an in-house guy, a yes man for Jerry guy, and,
yeah, that's all that was.
Schottenheimer, and
You nailed that.
yeah, and he's. I guess they're just not going to change any of their staff, which is a terrible
why
idea.
would you change anything, Ben?
So
why
like,
would the Dallas Cowboys change anything?
Yeah, but
Just
boy,
keep being terrible.
did you happen to see the press conference? That was real bad. And folks,
I don't even
if
know
you haven't seen it, just YouTube it on the press conference of Jerry Jones. I mean, that dude is losing it. If he, the funniest thing is he said he's got the new coach, Brian Schottenheimer, I believe is his name, sitting right next to him. And Jerry says, "You don't think I'm going to do stuff out of my comfort zone? This is the biggest risk I could ever take." And he's like, "This guy, it could be shit, but I'm hiring him." And then the guy's just sitting there like, "Oh my God," because you can't turn down the job, you know.
It's almost like in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
When you think I couldn't do anything more stupid, look what I just did. I hired this guy.
That was the worst. It's like
Poor guy, though. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him, though, too.
Yeah, that was like a script of a funny movie.
It was.
Like you
It
just
was
said,
just like
like
something
what
like
is that? You know? So, so Cowboys. I think I feel bad for the fan base, obviously.
too.
But hey, man,
My family's all Cowboys. Like,
yeah, I feel bad. I have tons of friends and family that are Cowboys fans. I feel bad for you, but sometimes. You know, like being a Raiders fan, man. Before we got John Gruden, that was the last good coach we had, which was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it was no man's land. It was just, and sometimes you just have to completely you just blow up and
the
implode.
Raiders have the coolest fan base. Like they have the most insane, crazy fans.
Yeah, they're good fans.
And you feel bad for them because they can't get
and
the program. It's almost like if you look at like if you watch like soccer, right? Like Arsenal, amazing team, but their fan base isn't like as crazy. And then you have other teams that are shit teams, like Manchester United, but their fan base is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that kind of.
Absolutely.
It's just you kind of feel bad for the fan base.
Yeah, and it all comes down to
same
ownership.
thing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
But like you just said, I think the Raiders hiring Pete Carroll is a change in culture.
Yes.
And that to me is the right move. And I think that Dallas hiring Schottenheimer. There we go. I almost said Schittenheimer. That would have been terrible.
That's probably what it's going to look like.
It's going to be a Schittenheimer. I think that how are you going to hire with them whenever you're trying to change what's broken?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Expecting different results, right?
Yeah.
So
Like
that's what I feel like Dallas has been doing forever.
Yeah, and it's not changing anytime
And I think
soon.
you and I talked about this before.
Billionaires live for a
like, you know
long
what I
time.
mean? I about to say he's going to live a long time, and I don't think after you and I talked, I think that was a while back, we were talking about his son. Doesn't look like he's going to be any different.
No,
so
it's.
like,
I think you're looking. They're going to have to. Somebody else is going to have to buy.
Somebody's
going to
have to buy it out. I think.
You know, and maybe Stephen Jones will sell it, and they can do something good.
Elon Musk has been buying a lot of stuff. Maybe he'll just buy the Cowboys.
I think he's bought. Yeah, he's bought a lot of things lately.
We need to break off into the NFL realm now.
Absolutely. So on that, so that's our Cowboy coverage. Sorry, guys.
God,
but. Oh yeah, and on the Super Bowl, we have the Super Bowl and the Puppy Bowl.
Puppy Bowl's coming up,
and that is a big deal. But okay, so I want to talk about. Well, we have these knives out here. I think you guys can see them, but I'll lift them up as we go. But so we're gonna get into some. And no, I'm not trying to steal all of Sean Ryan's ideas on his podcast. No. He would never know who I was. But anyways, there is something I'm going to give credit to other shows if I like something that they do.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we can't, can't do some of the same things.
I listened to Sean Ryan religiously.
Yeah, I listened to him a lot.
I literally I was
late.
Sean Ryan show.
Yeah, I was late to the party, man. But wow,
I think you and I were talking about
you
that.
told me about it for years.
Yeah, I've been.
You were
telling
like, dude,
everybody.
you got to
listen to me.
Yeah, you're like, dude, do this. And I finally
this
did.
guy, he was ahead of a lot of people on a lot of stuff, and I just have been really impressed with him. Like really impressed. Like Joe Rogan's been phenomenal for
yes,
but I just feel like Sean Ryan gapped or brought the gap together of two worlds. The military spec op world in the normal guy world.
Right.
So he took that and he bridged it.
Because he's not like, oh, you weren't Spec Ops, so you're a douchebag, or you're not cool.
I mean, he's got everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
anybody
cool.
on there. And I love it. But anyways.
So on that, what I am going to give him credit for, and something that I think is very neat, and he's not the first guy to do this. We do this when we're sitting around. Yeah. But like the everyday carry, the EDC. And that's something that's really big with a lot of us American men and women.
Yep.
And it's something that's kind of specific to us as a culture, being freedom loving, wanting to not be victim. Yeah. It doesn't have to be about your political affiliation. It has to be like, do you want to get caught with your you-know-what in your hand, or do you want to have something to use in your hand, right? And even down to the wallet and stuff, right? And that's all that's a part of what makes us unique is what do you got on you, right? So I'll ask you that question right now. What do you keep on you almost every day? If not,
I'm a 48 every day.
Okay,
Glock 48.
Nice.
Nothing major. No red dot. Nothing like that.
That's another question that I have for you.
That little Cobra.
Oh, let's see it.
One of my real good friends, Dustin Raider, Firehouse Fitness.
Okay. Little plug.
Got me that years ago, and I've carried it daily. I lost it for like 2 weeks.
See it?
And thought I was gonna hyperventilate. And then just a little.
Yeah, we're in Texas. That's right. You can have this kind of stuff in Texas.
Little Surefire flashlight.
Okay, the Surefire. Nice.
Nothing major, I don't know.
Very cool.
My keys are simple. I just keep a little house key on there or whatever. But Ridge Wallet. I cannot say enough. I'm going to give them a plug. Ridge. Right here.
Send us some wallets,
They
Ridge
have
Wallet.
wallets. They have key holders. I wish I had. It's in the truck. But they have a key holder where you can put all your keys on there. But they have like lightweight keys you can put on there so it weighs next to nothing.
Nice.
And it's, anyways, great. Love this wallet. This is my second one. I got this right whenever Ridge came out, and I had that wallet for years.
Nice.
And then now they're doing all kinds of stuff. They've got luggage. They've got all kinds of stuff. Anyways, just a great EDC wallet.
Cool. I've seen these a lot.
Got everything. I do private security too, so all my different licenses are in there, and a couple different cards and different stuff like that.
And I have plugged Spartan Global Consulting before on this show, and Blake is the honcho of that company for which I am also a contractor for, and we do PI work too.
Do it all.
And serve people papers. Did that last week.
There we go.
At a prison. That was a weird one.
Oh, that's
for me.
always a fun one, I bet.
Yeah, so I did a process serve at the Middleton Penitentiary down the road, and that was interesting. I tell you what, not looking forward to doing that again. I'm not going to lie.
A little plug to Ridge. Check out that little multi-tool deal.
So the wallet's got a multi-tool in it, which I assume you can open a beer with one of these. Oh, yeah. And then I'm not...
Different size hex heads off.
Okay, different size hex. That's pretty sweet.
Shimmy a door.
So that's cool. This surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't take you for an auto knife guy. I do like the
fixed
double
blade,
edge.
but I think it's more the nostalgia of that was a gift from one of my best friends.
I got you.
It's just kind of like one of those things. But yeah, this is just like would be normal.
That's your normal. That's cool, man. That's good
stuff. You can find me with
stuff.
these things on me most every day.
Yeah.
And
does the Glock 48 poke into your nuts?
It does. So yeah, the deal Ben's talking about here is the 43 comes like to here, and it would be perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm a cheap person. I don't want to rebuy if I've already got.
Right. Well,
so I just make do with it. Like I've gotten so used to it now.
Right.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, and you're gonna be more accurate too on a draw with
and
that.
Then I love the Glock 19.
Yeah.
It's my favorite end all be all pistol. So
as it should be
similar to that.
Right.
So this just gives me the same comfort of eye relief, and everything's the same on that.
So as you know, a few weeks ago, or maybe it's been more than that, maybe it's been a month ago, I got a new everyday carry pistol.
I was there.
And you were there. And I thought that was a pretty steal of a deal. But
let me tell you about Ben. We had a game plan going into this to get this one particular pistol. And we get there, and then Ben went completely off the rails onto another route, and ended up with a pretty sweet deal.
Oh, it's sick.
I think you got
Shadow
it for steel too.
Systems.
Shadow Systems.
It's a Shadow Systems. It is I've never
Sweet
had
little
like
pistol.
like a high end pistol like that.
Yeah.
It's basically a clone of a Glock.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. It's
The
got a
metal
gold.
work on it's really cool, like the CNC work and all that.
Yeah.
All the porting, all that.
So
cool.
I'm having a birthday come up this year, and I wanted to do something different with the firearm that I carry every day. And one of the things that I wanted to do was do this red dot thing or the optic on, because it's like the cool thing that everybody's doing now, kind of late to the party, and they're doing them for these micro pistols. And so, sure enough, what I do, I get one, and you have to train on how you present the pistol.
Everything.
And you're trying to not look at the little dot. You want to look at the target.
Yep.
And I'm watching a video of this the other day too, and it's called "How Red Dots Will Get You Killed."
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it.
And
But what are your thoughts on all that? And then I'll give you my final thoughts.
so, let me give you my dad, for instance. His eyes aren't as good anymore, as we all get there.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. At some point, you're going to need them. But there's a reason, like the state of Texas, during their testing qualifications, you cannot use a red dot.
Right. For security
qualifications,
Right.
Law enforcement, all that stuff. You can't use a red dot for your qualifications. So my only thought process on this is as you see in my EDC, I'm a simplistic man.
Yeah.
I want to keep it as simple as I can. I want to have as limited amount of failure points as I can possibly have.
Yeah.
Right. So, not every pistol is going to have a red dot. Not every red dot's the same.
Yeah.
What is the same across the board is iron sights.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes in iron sights is you can have tritium sights, you can have night sights, you can have, marigold, all the different color schemes and all that stuff. You have your white lines and your black, and you have your white dot, you have orange dot, green dot, whatever, all that. But your placement is always this look, right? That doesn't take a battery.
Yeah.
Doesn't take anything.
Yeah.
Right? So I know when I pull this and I go here, I pull the trigger, it goes boom, because that's a Glock, right? So it's kind of like, why do you choose a Glock? Because it always goes boom.
Because it works.
You know what I mean? So it's just, you can go with classy and this and that. And I love your pistol. And I think Shadow System has a great pistol. And I'm not knocking anybody else. Saying for me personally, I work mine all the time. I dry fire. I do have this thing called Mantis, where it scores your trigger pull, and you start working on your different relearning your trigger finger and breaking point, finding the wall just when you're about to snap, and working on your presentation. Like, it's just really awesome system. But I wanted to have something very simplistic for my everyday carry that I know I'm not going to pull it. No, I haven't changed the battery in 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, where's my red dot? Oh, you know what I mean? But that's where you hit the nail on the head. I think whatever you're going to carry, go train.
Yes.
Take it out and train with it. Do it as much as you possibly can. I'm not telling you to go spend millions on ammo, because that's what it'll cost sometimes.
Yeah.
But you can go dry fire. You can go just get comfortable with your placement. I don't know how many people. So we also do work with people on just normal training.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how many people. I worked with the sheriff's department guy the other day who where he had his pistol, he never drew from it. So we were doing some draws, and he was fumbling around with his draw, and I was like, well, what did you change something? Or, I just put the belt on and never really thought about it.
Yeah.
What?
That guy is watching your back, folks.
So just letting you know, that's what'll get you killed right there. It's not necessarily the red dot. It's the lack of training with the red dot. But also you need to train failure of the red dot. To me, that's where you hit the nail on the head. Don't look at the red dot. Look at the target. If you're presenting right,
dude, that is so hard.
You're coming out and you're just presenting and firing. Eventually, what's going to happen is through reps. And that's all that separates. Not all, but one of the things that separates spec op guys from average Joes is they go through thousands and thousands.
They're
of
like
reps.
machines.
They
Yeah.
just when they pull this, there is no thought process. It's just muscle memory of boom. I know this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Bam. And
Yeah.
so that's where we have to look at ourselves and go, maybe instead of watching the boob tube for 20 minutes, we spend 20 minutes working our system.
Yeah.
Getting your EDC out and trying
Yeah.
to figure out, do I like that right there? Is it okay for me to go appendix, or do I need to switch it around, or do I need to do whatever? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
So what I've
that's
kind
kind of my thought process on it, though.
yeah,
is
nice.
simplistic. You know what I mean?
What I kind of have kind of hate about it is that what's cool is the optic. It's a hollow sun,
Mm-hmm.
and the optic does not cover the iron sights.
So you have a co-witness,
So I
right?
can, so it's cool, but I still find myself looking for that damn dot.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to continue to train with it, but I mean, I may go back.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard.
So that's kind of my thoughts on the red dot situation. It sure looks cool,
Oh, it looks awesome.
you know, and you're like, hey, yeah, check this out. This is a Gucci Glock is what they call them, from what I understand.
Like something out of Snake Blixen would carry.
Yeah.
You know?
So, all right, we got some knives out here too. Blake is a sucker for knives, just like I am. And he probably regretfully has followed me down this rabbit hole as of the last couple of months. And it all started with the knife that he told me about a long time ago. And it is the Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife. I talked a bunch of shit about it last week. Not on purpose, not really, but I mean, it was in jest. But this is your World War II era British fighting knife, and it is it's quite small in the hand. Okay, so as you can see, it's very pokey.
It reminds me of like the old timey letter openers.
Exactly. Exactly. It
That's what it
reminds me
honestly
of
looks
a
like.
letter opener, and like these dudes from back then are just saying that this was the end all be all.
Slaying with that thing.
But so you got
slaying with
yours,
it.
right? Did you
Yeah.
get
Oh
yours?
yeah, mine came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've got it. I've been playing with it. Trying
It
to
is a
figure it
piece
out.
of history, folks, which is cool that we own them. But that grip is just
And I don't have big hands. I also have a pinky that doesn't close. But it's just I have a hard time with this holding on to it.
Yeah.
Is my problem. And I'm wondering, like, I would love to. I mean, that generation's almost gone.
yeah, they're
is
pretty
sad to
much
me.
gone.
They're-
I mean,
they're
these
pretty
the
much- I
World
don't
War II
know how
vets.
many of
There's
them are
only
left, but
yeah.
not very many. So I would love to have, if I was a smarter man back in my younger years, pick their brains
Mm-hmm.
of this. You know what their thought process are from this to nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it may have been, during that time we were limited on supplies,
Yes.
so it may just have been what
This
we
is
had
what we
available.
got, and this is what
you
we
know
can
what I mean?
make.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just I would love to know more about that.
There is some good YouTube videos on the FS fighting knife.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular has he's probably passed away now, but several years ago he was an old man that was a British commando.
Yeah.
And he goes through the how-tos and how they would use these, how
Yeah.
they would hold them. And from his perspective, it was more for like taking out sentries and for that, it seems like it would be great.
Yeah,
and
like
they
a
would
quick little.
and it's very, very slender. So you can put this in your boot if you were if you were a British commando,
Jump out
whatever.
of planes, all that stuff. I would assume.
Yeah.
They would keep it kind of.
And I think that's the kind of
Wherever.
the design of the sheath too, is to kind of go up against your leg like that. Anyhow, so then we go to American badassery.
Yep.
You know?
We always go bigger. It's like, look at that little Brit knife.
Yeah.
Kick this knife out.
That's
into
not
the
a knife.
Rambo, whatever. I don't know.
So now what you're gonna hate me for in a moment is the next knife that we have to get. So
I already know.
So, this is our OG, and this is
yeah.
actually a really cool horizontal carry sheath
I
right
was
here.
about to compliment the sheath there.
Pretty awesome. I can't remember
Little
who I got
scout
it from.
carry
Yeah,
sheath,
little
yeah.
scout carry. This is our OG K-bar, and I have actually had this knife for years, and I know it's an old one because the guard is down. It's kind of going down a little bit, and that's how they designed those for whatever reason. It is a little
be curious
loose.
to learn that too. Like we need to really dive into this.
Yeah,
like,
because
I'm just curious about all the little things in it. You know what I mean? Like what was the reasoning behind it?
And this was one of my. So I'm an avid outdoorsman, have been my whole life, and this is one of my first like bushcraft type knives because this was kind of before all these YouTube videos and
SE
stuff.
and all this other
yeah,
stuff
before
came around,
SE, and then K-Bar's brother company, Becker, the BK7. I got a bunch of those too that I want to bring up next week. But anyways, this thing has been through hell and honestly has stood up so well.
It still looks beautiful.
I'm proud of that thing.
Looks so good.
So
I remember going to the flea markets back in the day, like right across the line there in Oklahoma. They had this huge one. Anyways, I couldn't pass the knife stand. I wish I could find all those now.
Right. Absolutely.
That's so cool.
So now we go to the next one on the gauntlet.
Yeah, mine just came in.
And this thing is a mean, bad boy. This is your K-Bar modern day where the guys are like, let's just do fun stuff.
Blade.
It's your Tonto blade, and what I wanted was
serrations.
it's got the serrations on there, which I really wanted to be able to cut rope and stuff because this will do it, but having a nice serration to cut some rope
it's
or something.
almost like a tactical, and forgive me for not knowing what this is called, but a tactical
Wakasashi.
Yes.
Yeah. So Wakasashi
really
was like
to
the
me.
short samurai blade that they would carry. So the only thing I didn't love when I first got it was the what do we call it? The serrations are kind of rounded, like they're not real bitey.
Oh, they don't have like the points.
And
on
so
it?
I'm showing
mine just came in, so I hadn't had a chance to.
So
really
I'm showing
play
my
with it.
daughter, and I ran my finger down them, cut my finger. So they work. Here you go. But that thing is a bad boy. The only thing I don't love is how long it is, though.
Yeah.
It's like it's a big ass knife,
Like a small machete.
Yeah.
basically.
So I think for a workhorse, man, that could be great.
Yeah.
And if you just needed to put the pointy into a
This
bad
is
guy.
definitely not an EDC unless you're like a biker. Is that who carries
Yeah. Jax Teller. Yeah.
Put knives on their hips all the time.
Freaking Sons of Anarchy dudes carry that kind of stuff. But anyways, that's
It
knife.
feels good in the hand though. I haven't even played with mine yet. It's in the box. I almost brought it and I left it on the table. But
I love the rubber grip.
no, I like the
Come
grip a
on.
lot.
That thing is
So cool.
badass.
I love it because it's like the perfect blend of American and Japanese.
Yes.
Right? Which I think is super cool.
Hell yeah. So
love it.
So that is our knife tube
So the
segment.
So another good one. So if you're looking for another EDC knife, and I'm very embarrassed I don't have it on me. It's actually on my kit. But is Regiment Blade. It used to be Regiment Blade. I think they changed again. It was called the Colonel, and then it changed, and then anyways.
Yes.
But BCM years ago got with some guys and created this knife, and it's just a slightly curved knife. But the way their thought process behind it was anybody can throw a punch.
Right.
And so this knife makes it to where you can just slaughter somebody by just throwing your regular punches. You don't have to learn all the different moves and this and that. Like you can just average Joe throw punches.
Gross motor functions.
Gross motor skill punches. Yeah. It's really a cool knife. I love it. They actually have the fixed blade one, and then they have a folding one.
Yeah.
I messed with the folding one. I've got it. It's right there on my dresser, but I couldn't perfect that one. I could never get it like
I still
out
have
in,
it
in the way that I needed it to be.
like the ring that your finger goes through being a pocket knife is kind of I didn't love it.
It was a little bit harder.
Yeah, but man, that's cool. I like that. Which one's the one that you have on your kit that's like the dagger
Well, it's a
basically?
Scallywag actually is what that one is. But it's a dagger. It's basically just I actually carried it when I went to Peru.
Okay.
And it fit really great. Appendix, and you can out quick, and
Right.
You can get into it really quickly.
Nice.
I love that knife. Like, it's
So
one of my
why don't
favorite ones.
you tell us about your Peru experience and what you were doing there
So yeah,
and what that was all about?
so I'm also on the board and have worked for Beyond Trafficking for years. And Stephanie Rocha started this company or this nonprofit years ago. I came on about the first gala, which was about 5-6 years ago, and have volunteered for them for a long time. I've been on the board now for almost 2 years, and so basically, what we do is we help men, women, children who have been trafficked in any way, shape, or form. And so what led us to Peru was Stephanie's done a lot of mission trips. And so she came across some people in Peru and a church down there, and they got her in touch with the local government, and they're having a hard time figuring out what to do when they're pulling people out of these traffic situations. So we went down there to look at a safe house, and then upon investigation, which is another problem we have in America, is that there are our Argentine gangs basically have moved into neighborhoods, like whole neighborhoods taken over down there, and are prostituting out
They tried to do that
all
in
kinds of
Denver,
children.
Colorado.
They
Here.
took over a whole apartment complex.
Yeah.
Like,
Turns
that's
out
surprising to me.
Yeah, a bunch of those
Like-
dirtbags are not here anymore, though.
I guarantee you. Yeah. They had to handle something on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so upon arriving there, we just learned all kinds of stuff. Like boys are taken out of their homes at 5 years old
Whoa.
and given hormonal blockers
Oh.
to basically turn them into she-males,
Right.
basically, and forced
Yikes.
to work the street. And
That's not
that's
good.
kind of what's going on right now over there. And it's a pretty bad situation
Right.
in Peru. So it's not just, we have a lot of influx of, not to be political at all, but that's where the dangers that a lot of people don't see about letting people into your country that aren't vetted, that
Yeah.
aren't,
Right.
let's see, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
What are you bringing over?
Yeah, the
You
more
know
the
what I mean?
merrier, as long
Like,
as you got good
yeah,
intentions, right?
We all came here from somewhere.
Yeah.
Our ancestors came here, right?
Right.
Outside of Native Americans, of course, but
Right.
you know what I mean. It's so that's all fine, but it's also like what we just found out in Denver and some of these other places going on. Like we need to screen people coming in and make
Yeah.
sure what you're doing here, what's going on, because what's happening in Peru is, their government's getting overwhelmed. They can't keep up with the amount of Argentinian and I think Colombians and some other ones. Anyways, there's a bunch of different countries that are flooding there, but it's all the criminal element. It's
Right.
not like value-added citizens. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a lot of people think, Mexico's invading our. It's not really the Mexico. It's not really the Mexicans. It's more further down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That are coming up through Mexico
that way.
to get there, and that's where like a lot of people don't understand. Like there needs to be some checkpoints there.
Right.
You know, not saying you're not welcome. It's
Right.
saying, hey, we want you here, but we want to make sure why you're here.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's where I think that what happened in Denver and some of that stuff. That's what we're trying to do now is to help these men, women, and children that have been trafficked through all this stuff. That's what we do now, and that's what I was doing in Peru, was helping them set up safe houses and stuff like that, which we're doing
Heck
here. And, we're doing in Colorado, and we're doing other places, Ecuador and El Salvador and some other places.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Well, that's great stuff. that
But yeah,
you're
so
doing.
I just, you go to another country, you can't take a gun.
Yeah, so-
after a paper trail you can, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But you had the old
we just took it out.
scallywag.
Had the old scallywag.
The dagger.
Dagger with me.
And if you know how to use it, then
worked,
you're good to go, right?
Worked great,
Okay, so that brings me to my next segment here, and then we'll start kind of wrapping up the show.
Yeah.
The press secretary of the White House, Carolyn Levitt, has had her first press briefing.
Big press briefing the other day.
I think yesterday or the day before.
Was it yesterday?
And basically, they are opening the press situation
Huge.
up to not just the same old media journalist hacks, and they are allowing people, quite frankly, I don't know that I would be very surprised if we heard back
Yeah.
from this show.
But no, I mean you're right
But-
there. You're one of them.
Right.
You're one of the podcasters.
That's
You're one
right.
of the-
So we have gone to whitehouse.gov/new media, and we've basically submitted an application form to be able to be involved somehow
That's huge.
with asking questions to essentially the President of the United States.
Oh.
And, you know, I don't know. I'd figure we give it a shot and see what happens. And I just think that's cool that we're doing different things when it comes to access.
Well,
you know.
it's just like we were talking about with the NFL coaching staff and stuff like that. And again, not to get political, I don't, your vote is your vote.
Sure.
Like I don't ever judge, either way. But I am impressed with the current administration's willingness to do that.
Right.
Because no one else has done that.
Has ever
And
opened
I
up the-
believe
yeah.
this is the first president and vice president that have ever gone on a podcast like that and spoke for 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't think
Openly.
that's ever happened.
I can't find
And
it
if I'm wrong,
if it
then
has. I
if
mean,
we're
yeah,
wrong,
please,
then we're wrong,
please
but-
submit the.
but-
give me the link. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll
You know what
watch
I
it.
mean,
Exactly.
But that was, I'm not saying for or against. I'm just saying that was pretty cool
Yeah.
to go on there and just
That was
leave it all
interesting.
out there. That was was pretty impressive to me,
I think that did a lot.
and I think that changed
yeah.
politics
Yeah.
going forward. Basically,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like
I think
it's like
that
we
really
are
did.
we are the people, and we do
You're going to
now.
have to answer to the people.
Yeah,
now,
and we
you
have
know
a
what I mean?
platform.
Yep.
And it's called YouTube.
Yep.
And
YouTube, X, and
you know,
all the different ones we have now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, it's like all these voices now are being heard.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
It
No
is
matter how
awesome.
you vote, you should love that.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? You should want your
More
your
access.
person that
Yeah.
you want in there. You should want to be able to open forum them.
Yeah.
For 3 hours or however long. You know what I mean? And that's what I think this. I'm very pleased and excited to see how interesting the press conferences are going to be now.
Hell yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? There for a while, they've been pretty mundane and just kind of like,
Yeah.
what? You said this, and now we're doing this, and now we're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those questions weren't ever brought because it's the same,
they were cherry picked.
same cherry picked people.
Yeah.
So now let's bring in, the Sean Ryans and the Joe Rogans and the, you know what I mean? Let's bring these guys
And the
in there.
breakdowns.
And the breakdowns. Let's bring the breakdown crew
Come
up
on.
there. You know what I mean? Let's bring people that will ask the questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it, man.
And
So
I think it's great.
So now, as we get to closing point, my last question is favorite war movie all time. Go. You can only pick one.
One?
You can only pick one.
Alrighty, okay.
You can do a top three after you pick one.
All right. Favorite wartime movie of all time. Does it have to be specific war?
No. Come a little closer to the mic, though.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was really panicked there. I was like,
There's only one
so
answer,
sorry.
in my opinion. But
There's so many for me. I don't know. I can't pick
you
one.
can't do it.
I can't pick one, Ben. I just can't.
It's terrible for content.
I know. I just.
Platoon, Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger.
Yes, but I mean, that
Vietnam.
Platoon is awesome. But I mean, you could go back to the Alamo.
Okay.
That's our history right there. I'm a Texas boy.
I know it, but
The
come
Alamo.
on. That's not a. It's
That's the war that
Okay.
gave us our land, Benjamin.
that's fair. That's fair. I didn't
You
even.
see what
That
I'm
didn't even
saying?
cross my mind.
I'm looking at okay, so then you have
well, then there's your favorite movie then.
I mean, that's
Is
would
this-
have to be
Is
mine.
this Billy Bob Thornton
would
Alamo
be,
or old school John
no,
Wayne
old school
Alamo?
John Wayne the Alamo for sure. Although Billy Bob Thornton's
That was
last
pretty
scene
good. That was good.
was one of my favorite
know I'm a
moves in all
screamer.
history. You know I'm a screamer. That was fantastic. But no, Platoon was amazing, and I think it really showcased Vietnam
Yeah, like
and
what-
what Vietnam really was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you go back, and I really liked 13 Hours was really good to
Oh,
depict.
yeah. Okay.
Just that's
Yeah.
not a war. You know what I mean? But I'm saying
So good.
There's so many movies. We Were
Yeah.
Soldiers were amazing. That's about the first engagement.
Yeah, we were
Right?
soldiers.
I mean, that was
and then
brutal.
of course Saving Ryan's Private.
Saving Private Ryan. I almost said something really bad there because you led me into that. You baited me.
I baited
But no, there's a lot of really. The Longest Day,
Oh yeah,
super
that's
good.
The Wild
Midway.
Bunch. Wild Bunch.
Did you watch Midway? Midway was phenomenal.
I don't think I've seen Midway.
Midway is phenomenal. It's about whenever we first got hit.
Pearl Harbor,
And kind of Pearl Harbor,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
kind of everything that led up to that, and
Yeah.
then all the signs were
Fantastic.
there, and World War II was one giant fumble.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, if you
Yeah.
go behind the scenes and really watch stuff of like from the Germans to us, Japan, England, like the main four there made so many stupid decisions.
Yeah, they're like, this guy says
We
he's
could have
about
won
to
the
do
war
this.
right here, but we didn't. And then Germany could have won the war right here, but they were too scared to do whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just all these things. So I mean, to me, it's like all these movies now. Once we learn, have been only gotten better over time. But no, you're right. But I mean, Platoon is phenomenal.
I don't know why. I just
But
love that one so much.
I love the Alamo because of the history of
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, you
right?
got-
Because I'm a Texas boy.
Well, and like, we
So
could
that
go-
that was one of the first war movies I ever saw that was about like an actual
Yeah.
war that took place.
Had to get a
And I
coonskin
always
cap.
thought that was gosh.
Yeah.
And now did you see the coonskin ballistic helmets they have now? Nick
Yes.
just posted on our super secret
Group text?
group
Yeah,
text.
absolutely.
No, but now that's happening. But no, that's what I mean. Is like that's why it's so hard for me to pick
Yeah.
one war movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good ones.
It's a
and
loaded
now it's like-
question.
it's a
I was
loaded
going to see
question
if you
for
could
sure.
just, boom, come up with one now.
I mean, the Alamo was first in my head.
Yeah. The Patriot, Mel
Definitely.
Gibson.
The Patriots,
Come on.
amazing. I don't know how accurate that is,
Yeah.
but I want it to be like that. I feel like that's how it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's version of the breakdown with Ben, week 18. And Blake, thanks for joining me, man. I'd love to have you
anytime.
again.
Anytime.
And maybe we'll make this a regular occurrence if we
is
can
fun.
make it in our schedules
make it
and
in.
some more EDC talk, knife talk, gun talk, sports talk, all the talk.
all of it.
And we'll be seeing you guys at the White House press conference next week.
Coming soon.
I just got the email that confirmed that we're going to be on there. So you'll see us with that nice lady. But anyways, we'd like to thank Sammy, our producer extraordinaire, Jan, hair and makeup, wonderful lady. Big Frank, we'll see you next week. Don't forget to watch the Travie Wavy podcast before this one. Hopefully this brought a little bit of fun for you guys to let you in on a little bit of another side of who I am, beyond just a sports fanatic and a football junkie. And my good friend Blake Casper here, and go to Firehouse Fitness. Apparently, check out Lone Star Dry Goods down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Come get a cup of coffee at the Majestic Coffee Shop and then we're at the Neon Parrot Live Studios here. And what a day.
Good day.
Hell yeah,
Good
dude.
talk.
Sammy,
Thanks for having me.
we're going to hit that music. Absolutely, dude.